The city of Everbrook was alive with neon lights reflecting off rain-soaked streets, the hum of distant traffic blending with the faint rhythm of footsteps echoing in the night. Aria pulled her coat tighter, her breath visible in the chilly autumn air. The city never slept, but tonight felt quieter, like it was holding its breath, waiting. She hadn't been back in years. The cafe on the corner of Willow Street looked exactly the same, faded red awning, fogged-up windows, and the soft glow of vintage lamps casting warm circles of light inside. This place held memories, some she'd cherished, others she'd buried deep. It was where she'd last seen Kai. She hesitated before pushing the door open, the familiar chime of the bell triggering a wave of nostalgia she wasn't ready for. The smell of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the faint trace of cinnamon, wrapping around her like a forgotten melody. Then she saw him. Kai sat in the corner, hunched over a notebook, his dark hair slightly longer, his jawline sharper, but his presence unchanged, magnetic, and painfully familiar. He looked up, as if sensing her gaze, and their eyes met. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, quickly replaced by something softer: recognition, maybe even regret. Aria's heart tightened. She wanted to turn around, to escape before words ruined everything. But her feet refused to move. Kai stood slowly, his expression guarded but vulnerable. "Aria," he said softly, as if her name was a fragile thing he wasn't sure he was allowed to hold anymore. She swallowed hard, forcing herself to speak. "Didn't expect to see you here." His lips curved into a faint, bittersweet smile. "I could say the same." Silence settled between them, thick with everything left unsaid. After a beat, Kai gestured to the empty seat across from him. "Want to sit?" Aria hesitated, her mind screaming no, but her heart, the foolish part that never really let go, betrayed her. She sat. The distance between them felt both too small and too vast. Kai's fingers tapped nervously on the edge of his cup. "Have you been?" She let out a soft, bitter laugh. "It's been 3 years, Kai. You don't get to start with small talk." His smile faded, replaced by guilt. "You're right." She leaned back, crossing her arms. "Why are you here?" Kai sighed, glancing down at his notebook before meeting her gaze again. "Because I never stopped thinking about you." The words hit her harder than she expected, unraveling emotions she'd buried under years of pretending she was fine. Aria shook her head, her voice barely a whisper. "You left without a word." "I know," he said quietly. "And I've regretted it every day since." She didn't know if she believed him, but she stayed. The low hum of conversation and the clinking of coffee cups around them faded into the background as Aria sat across from Kai, the distance between them filled with invisible threads of history, words left unsaid, promises broken, and memories too fragile to touch. Kai's eyes held hers, filled with something raw, something that made her heart ache in ways she thought she'd buried long ago. "I didn't come here to ruin your night," he started, his voice low, almost tentative. "I just needed to see you." Aria let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding, her fingers tightening around the warm mug in front of her. "Why now, Kai?" "After 3 years." He hesitated, glancing down at his notebook, his thumb nervously tracing the edge of the paper. "Because I thought I could move on. I thought time would make it easier." "And did it?" she asked, her voice sharper than she intended. Kai met her gaze again, shaking his head slowly. "No, it didn't." Aria felt a bitter laugh rise in her throat, but it got stuck somewhere between anger and heartbreak. "You could have called, written, anything." "I was a coward," he admitted softly, his voice carrying the weight of regret. "I thought leaving without saying goodbye would make it easier for both of us." "Well, it didn't," she snapped, her chest tightening with the words she'd never had the chance to say. "You broke me, Kai. You left, and I had to figure out how to pick up the pieces alone." Silence settled between them, heavy and suffocating. Kai's eyes softened, filled with a vulnerability that made her want to both scream and cry. "I'm sorry, Aria. For everything." She looked away, blinking back tears. She hated how sincere he sounded, hated that part of her still cared. Sorry doesn't change anything, she whispered. I know, he replied quietly, but I needed you to hear it. The cafe grew quieter as the night deepened, the world outside lost in the glow of streetlights reflecting off wet pavement. After a long pause, Aria finally spoke, her voice softer. What do you want from me, Kai? His jaw tightened slightly, as if the answer carried more weight than he was ready to admit. I don't know. I just wanted to see you, to know if you're okay. She laughed bitterly. You don't get to care about that anymore. Kai nodded, accepting the truth in her words. I get it. But he didn't leave. And she didn't ask him to. The days that followed were filled with chance encounters, or maybe not so chance after all. They crossed paths at the park, at the small bookstore near Aria's apartment, at the corner where the city lights felt like distant stars. Each meeting chipped away at the walls she'd built around her heart. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, they found themselves walking side by side, the silence between them less heavy now. Kai glanced at her, his hands buried in his jacket pockets. I never stopped missing you. Aria swallowed hard, her heart betraying her with the way it quickened. Missing someone doesn't mean much if you never show up. I know, he said quietly, but I'm here now. She stopped walking, turning to face him. Why, Kai? What do you want from me? His eyes met hers, filled with honesty she wasn't ready for. A second chance. Her heart clenched, memories flooding in of laughter, late-night talks, whispered dreams. I don't know if I can do that, she whispered. Kai nodded, stepping closer, his voice soft. Then let me start with being your friend again. Aria didn't respond. But she didn't walk away either. Weeks passed, and their fragile friendship grew, stitched together with quiet conversations and shared silences. Kai didn't push. He was just there, like he always should have been. One chilly night, they sat on a bench overlooking the city, wrapped in the quiet comfort of being together without the weight of words. Kai broke the silence first. I thought I knew what I wanted back then, but I was wrong. Aria glanced at him, her heart softer now, the sharp edges dulled by time and his quiet persistence. And what do you want now? He smiled slightly, the kind of smile that held more emotion than words ever could. You. Her breath caught, her heart both terrified and hopeful. She looked away, staring at the city lights. I'm still angry. You have every right to be. I don't know if I can ever forget what you did. I'm not asking you to. Silence settled again, but this time it was filled with something fragile hope. Aria turned back to him, her eyes shining with unshed tears. I don't know what this is. Me neither, he whispered. But I know I want to figure it out with you. She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no. Instead, she reached for his hand, her fingers intertwining with his, a small gesture, but enough to bridge the space between what was lost and what could be found again. Because sometimes, love isn't about the perfect beginning. It's about having the courage to start again.